think there are two very important messages. The first is, if you have questions, if you have concerns, you should ask the right people. If you are sick and then you go and ask an engineer about your medical condition, you are to blame for getting the wrong answer. And your medical condition will only get worse, and it's your fault and nobody else's fault. If you have questions and you target, be it practical questions on how to pray and how to do this or that, or questions in terms of theology and in terms of the foundational pillars of religion, and then you go and ask one of the new preachers who know nothing, who know literally nothing. And the question here is not about moderation. Some of them are moderate, are nice people, maybe very charming, but they know nothing, literally nothing about religion. So just go to people who have done their studies. There's a difference between somebody who has been studying that for 20 years and then he's capable of answering that, studying that in the right way, that has been accepted by this ummah for 14 centuries. By learning from somebody who has learning and getting authorization to speak, ijazah, from somebody who has done that, all the way back in a chain that goes all the way back to the Prophet and the companions. This is the only way to guarantee that what you're learning is proper, what you're learning is right, that you get proper answers. Those people are there. Not as many as they were at earlier times, and of course it was much easier to find them when we did not have all this noise made by people with very little competence but with very high marketing abilities who appear on TV all the time to market Islam, supposedly. So my first advice is, go to the people who not the people who are with good marketing abilities, not the people who are nice and smiling, not the people who can tell you jokes, but the people who have knowledge. And those are definitely not the Wahhabis, those are definitely not the new preachers, those are definitely not the Salafis, those are the Ash'ari, Mazhabi, Sufi scholars. You will find them primarily at Al-Azhar, but of course not all of Al-Azhar are like that anymore. The second piece of advice, if I may, is that when you're looking for the truth, when you want to understand something, look at it and for a moment try to forget about all the consequences of it. The truth is only the truth because it is in and by itself the truth. It is what your mind tells you is the truth, regardless of its consequences. The consequences are important, but they come at a later stage. Don't mix those two things together. Try to understand things as they are. Try to make decisions. So when it comes to religion, the truth is in theology and not in practice. Practice is based on theology. So you cannot understand why a certain legislation is like this or like that if the theology is not there. This applies to all what are called today the controversial legislations, obviously. Go back to theology. This is what matters most. And it is only from there that you have the base from which you go to discussing everything else. So those are, I think, the two most important things that I can say.